Welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you about the things I both love and hate about BookTube as a whole. Now I'll be honest, I can be a bit of a nosy bastard, so I would imagine, like me, some of you drama llamas are here just to see the things that I hate about BookTube. So I'm going to start with that first, and then the loyal people that truly love this channel can wait till the end for the positive stuff. Grab a cuppa, sit back and relax, because we're about to get into the bitchy stuff. Now, unfortunately for the few people that do want real drama, you're not going to get it in this video. I am not going to be naming and shaming any video in the things that I hate about BookTube, but I will of course be naming and shaming when I come to the things that I love about YouTube as a whole. Now, the first thing that I really dislike about BookTube as a community is the commercialization and the fact that there are so many videos now, especially on the bigger channels, where it's just full of sponsored ads and affiliate links and adverts just crammed into these videos, which just take away from the viewing experience. It really just riles me up. I just wish that some content creators, when they do get that following, could just like pay back for the loyal followers that have been with them for a while and try and find other ways to monetize rather than constantly sticking sponsored ads into the videos. I'm all for people making bank and trying to, you know, make a living and things like that, but YouTube as a platform does actually reward creators for bringing eyes to the channel and will pay accordingly for the people that sit and engage and watch like that. So I know it's a tough one, and again, this is not attack. I don't think there's a right or wrong. This is just something that frustrates me. Constant sponsored ads in the same video, and I think some of the ads that are put onto some of these channels are just terrible products, and certain creators will just accept an ad for the fact that they pay well. Another thing that really riles on me is book haul culture. I think in the year of 2025, we are now in a place where book buying and reading are two completely separate hobbies. And I equally love both of them. I think the reason it frustrates me is because I'm very easily influenced. And I feel a lot of pressure when I watch other content creators with the beautiful bookshelves and the fantastic special edition books to join in, because I am diagnosed as ADHD and autistic, and trying to tell me just to not buy it, that's not possible for me. That really can throw me off. It can just ruin my day. I am such an obsessive person, so if I see a video with beautiful bookshelves and beautiful special editions, I can't help but want them. And sometimes I will make irrational decisions and go out and purchase something just because of the pressure that the book community as a whole can put on us as readers. Now, if you look behind me, you're going to see, you know, these charity shop bookshelves that I've got. These cost me 15 quid. And I always told myself over time that I was going to stay true to myself, keep using my local library, buy books from charity shops, which is absolutely what I do 90% of the time. But let's be real, I've got another Billy bookshelf in the corner of my bedroom that's probably got 50 books on. I've got this behind me here, which is double stacked with all these books. I don't need all these books. And when I first started reading, I probably had 30, 40 books. And I think it's just the pressure of being online and watching other people, where you want to join in, you want to feel like you're part of something. As someone that struggles to make friends outside of social media, starting a book collection and having these books and being able to discuss these books with people online is a way for me to feel a bit like I fit in. And I think sometimes when you watch creators, it can just put that added pressure on you to make you feel like you need to do the same so you can also be part of that community. Aesthetic over substance is another thing that really bothers me about the way that I feel YouTube as a whole is going when it comes to the book community. Deep dive reviews seem to just completely fall flat on the face, which is why a lot of content creators won't post single book review videos, because the only people that are going to watch them videos are people that are specifically looking for a review on that video, which 9 times out of 10 the video won't do as well, which discourages content creators to post individual book reviews. However, you get these fantastic, beautiful channels that are full of huge bookshelves, home libraries, beautiful aesthetically pleasing books, where people will unhaul these videos for an hour and they just do really well. And I think that encourages content creators as a whole to go out and do what my previous point said frustrated me, in haul all these books to just get the most beautiful aesthetic page possible. And I don't necessarily think that's always a positive thing. Next up, and something that's really difficult for new creators, is algorithm bias. And it is really, really difficult for new creators to start a platform on YouTube. And there's a few reasons really. Firstly, motivational. A lot of people start up, get no traction and just give up early doors. But secondly, the way that YouTube videos work is myself, I will do a video, it gets sent out to a select number of people. People that sub to my channel will be favorited as such. It'll get pushed towards them first. If my subscribers engage well with that content, it'll then get pushed out further to other people. The more watch time a video gets, the more people it gets sent out to. Now, when you've got people like Daniel Green who are getting a lot of views and a lot of view duration on videos, then videos will then naturally get sent out to more and more people. There are just so many unbelievable smaller content creators out there who've just got such a way with words and such a knowledge of literature as a whole, but their videos just probably likely won't ever get seen because of the huge accounts with the huge followings, which is such a shame. Now, I myself started up YouTube for two reasons really. Firstly, because I wanted a platform to be able to talk about mental health and just let other people who love books know that they're not alone, and that's always going to be my number one priority when it comes to this page. The second reason I started this channel was to document my journey. I have got a terrible memory. I often forget what's happened in books that I've read 2, 3, 4 days after I've read them. So I wanted a place, almost like a diary, for me to be able to come back to in 10, 15 years time and remind myself how I felt about certain books at certain times. I also, as a byproduct of that, have built just an amazing community with just some fantastic people, and that's kind of kept me going. So even on my bad mental health days, the community that has been built is my reason to continue to post videos. It's just such a shame that a lot of small creators might never be given that chance because of either giving up too soon because of how difficult it is early doors, or the bigger accounts just taking up all of the viewership from the smaller accounts. And that I find to be one of the most frustrating things about YouTube. The next thing that winds me up is performative diversity. I don't necessarily think that my channel is intentionally diverse. I will read books written by authors of colour, books written by queer authors, but it's not intentional. I go out, I buy a book, I pick it up, I read it, it is what it is. It might be written by a man, might be written by a woman, not intentional. There are niche channels who will only read books written by queer authors, books written by authors of colour, which is absolutely fantastic. However, channels like that often struggle to grow because you're going to find that the target audience who are looking for that specific channel will find it, but it's not going to get pushed out to a wider audience. Here lies a problem for me, is a lot of the time when authors with things like queer representation, authors like TJ Klune, when a book starts to trend, you will find a lot of authors who aren't necessarily, I don't mean authors, I mean creators, who aren't necessarily that passionate about certain representations will then start pushing content out to their viewers because they know them books are trending. And that feels, for me, a bit disingenuous. I feel as creators we should always put our reading journey first, read what we want to read and not just read certain books because we feel like it might get a certain target audience on side. And that just really, really frustrates me. I do think that any spotlight on marginalised authors is fantastic. Any positive spotlight is brilliant. However, I just don't think we should be using these sort of books as a way to kind of clickbait and get likes and shares and views. I myself just don't want to build a following based off the back of just reading books that I think are popular because they'll get pushed out to a wide audience who might then come to me just for them specific books. And I don't always read popular books. The echo chamber effect. You've all been there. Look, as well as creating content, I also watch content. And 9 times out of 10, it is just the same books, rinse and repeat. If you read romance, it's Emily Henry and Abby Jimenez. If you read fantasy, it's George R.R. Martin, it's Patrick Rothfuss, and it's Brandon Sanderson. And sometimes it can get infuriating. When I come onto YouTube to look for recommendations, I'm coming to find books that I've never heard of. I'm coming to find hidden gems. And I think sometimes creators can get wrapped up in this vacuum of just popular books. And I understand why they do it. The reason that they talk about the same books all the time is because they understand that there's a large viewership on YouTube that want to watch videos about them books because they're popular. They then assume that if they talk about them books, they're going to bring in loads and loads of people, flooded at the gates with new subscribers. The only problem for me then comes with the fact that if you're just talking about the same books all the time and everyone's talking about the same books, you just get lost in a sea of fish. There's just so many content creators out there talking about the same books. But more importantly, as a reader, it's going to take away from your reading experience because there's so many phenomenal books out there that aren't getting plastered all over content creators' pages that you're missing out of by just reading the same stuff all the time just to try and fit in. Two of my favourite authors of all time, if I'm in a crime mood, Chris Carter, I never hear anyone talk about him. And if I'm in a fantasy mood, The Lies a Lot More is one of my favourite books of all time. And I don't think I've seen anyone put that book in their top 5 of all time, which is just criminal to me. The fact that that book doesn't belong in anyone's top 5, that's got to change. And I think the only way to make more people aware of these fantastic books is that we just stop talking about the same trending books and popular books all the time. Next up, and I'm guilty of this often, is review depth. I feel like because of the way that YouTube rewards view time, and a lot of content creators just know that people don't want to sit and watch 20-30 minute videos, it just means that as content creators, me myself, often will get kind of surface level when it comes to breaking down a book. I'm currently reading the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I've got so many thoughts and feelings, and I'd love to do a video where I can sit down and really talk about each character's traumas and the way that they're working through them, because these characters are just so real. The author spent so much time thinking in such depth about how these characters are going to work through traumas, how they're going to help each other to build, how these traumas have affected who they are as people. And it just seems such a waste to come on here at the end of the month and just go, I love this book, it was class. But it just feels like that's the way that YouTube's going, is it's just short, sharp reviews, and we're truly missing out on the magic that is literature and some of the just pure art that these authors can do when they write words on this paper. It just seems such a shame that long, in-depth book reviews seem to be falling off face of earth. I think this one angers me the most. Gatekeeping. Oh, it just riles me up so much. There are too many people on earth that care about the genre of books that other people read. I will start by saying I love fantasy. Fantasy is my favourite genre. I love other books. I love crime. I love thrillers. I love romance. I love lit RPG. But fantasy is my go-to. It's where I get lost. Frustratingly, it tends to be in the fantasy genre that a lot of readers will look down upon other readers who read romantasy. And I cannot understand that for the life of me. The way that I see this is romantasy authors like Sarah J. Maas, like Penn Cole, like Rebecca Yarros have brought so many new readers to this world. They've put so many eyes on paper that maybe weren't there before. And I don't think I'll ever fully understand why people care what genre other people read. But it's not just the fact that they care what they read, it's the fact that they talk about other genres like romantasy like it's lesser to fantasy. Not all readers want epic world building. Not all readers want crazy magic systems like Brandon Sanderson's going to deliver. Some people are happy to dive into a book, get a nice enemies to lovers story, maybe have some trials, and hopefully get an happily ever after. And I don't know why we don't encourage that. It is such a small minority of people that drag others down for their choice in genre. But I'll never understand it. It'll always anger me. And I've been on the back of it myself. I commented on a video in the past and someone went on my page and saw that I read romance books and fantasy books, and they told me to get back to my stupid books and that they'd read all their fancy books by Kafka and all them fancy writers who, you know, that's not me. I don't enjoy that. But someone came at me because of my choice of genre, and I will never personally understand that. I think you've got to have a lot of sadness in your life to put that negativity on someone else solely based on the fact that they don't read a genre that you enjoy. That's bonkers to me. Next up is the pressure to read fast, because bloody hell don't some of these content creators read at a rate. Now, I don't set myself reading goals. My only goal is that I enjoy as many books as possible. At the start of the year, I set up a Fable account, and it asks you when you set up that account how many books you want to read. So I put 52 because there's 52 weeks in the year, and I thought that just makes sense to me. However, we're about halfway through the year, and I have seen videos and I've seen Instagram posts with people talking about the fact that there are 150 to 200 books deep this year. I will never understand how that's physically possible. I spend most of my spare time reading. I'm not the quickest reader, so I understand that some people read faster than I do and can consume literature at a faster rate than I do, but 200 books by August, that's mental. These can't be sleeping. I think another issue, and this for me is a big issue, there are people that view content. I'm a content creator who also views content, who are just easily influenced. And yes, we're all adults, but look, we're someone's kid, aren't we? We're still kids at heart. We watch these videos and we think, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I do that? Because undoubtedly, we love books. We want to read as many books as we possibly can, but we also want to enjoy the books. I think one of the problems is the lack of transparency behind audiobooks. Now, I am on the side of saying, yes, audiobooks are absolutely consuming literature. They absolutely count as books consumed for the year. I hate it when people say, no, audiobooks don't count. I think that is ableist. I don't like that. There are some people out there with dyslexia. There are blind people. There are people that truly cannot consume written word. So I do think they count. However, I also think it's important as content creators that we're honest with our viewers about whether we're actually reading these books or listening to them. Because I know of content creators who I speak to myself who are speed reading through these books at 2 to 2.5 times on Audible to get through the books as quick as they can, to put reviews out. And for me, that just isn't it. I just don't think we should be doing that. I think we should be reading books because we enjoy books. We shouldn't care about how many books we get through a year. But frustratingly, when you've got content creators out there getting through 200 to 300 books a year, it puts pressure on the viewers to try and keep up. There are a lot of loyal viewers out there who watch my page and watch other people's pages who want to read the same books as their favourite content creators. And it's just not possible. You know, a lot of people work full time and they physically cannot consume the amount of books. And I just feel like it puts a lot of pressure on readers. It could take away from the joy of reading, and this is just one where I wish content creators would just be very, very transparent about the books that they're physically reading and the books that they're listening to. Don't get me wrong, there are some wicked content creators out there who are honest, but I also know that there's a lot of creators out there who aren't being honest about the fact that they're 2 times speed listening to audiobooks just to blast through them and get reviews out and then get more ARC reads, more free books, and that's just bonkers. We shouldn't be reading for that reason. That's stupid to me. Last thing I'm going to moan about. This is the last thing that I truly hate about the BookTube community. And it's probably up there with the thing that I hate the most. And it is the cancel culture. It's the vultures stood on the outside waiting to pounce. And I've seen it time and time and time again. The second a content creator makes a mistake or an alleged mistake, you've got medium-sized creators sat on the outside watching in, just waiting to pick up the pieces. The amount of videos I've seen surrounding controversy of other content creators that have absolutely blown up, because we're all drama llamas. We love drama. We love hearing the gossip. We're just nosy bitches, aren't we? We all are. I am. And I can't help but click on them videos. I just wish, as a community, which is what we're supposed to be, we could focus on building people up rather than trying to tear people down just to gain extra followers. Because that's all people are doing. You know, if somebody does something wrong or allegedly does something wrong, people want to jump straight on, they want to pick up the cameras and they want to do a reaction to this controversy because they know it's going to get eyes on the page and they're hoping to steal these followers, which is wild to me. Really wild. That's the last thing that I truly dislike about YouTube or BookTube as a whole. Now, for the people that were here for the drama and the negativity, we're done. We're now going to get into the positive stuff. If you have enjoyed this video so far, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and all that jazz. And if you're not already subscribed to the page, please do. It massively helps me out and it helps get my video out to more and more people who hopefully might be able to find my mental health stuff as well. And it might get them out of a bit of a shitty situation. Here's to hoping. Now let's get to the positive stuff. The first thing I love about this community is exactly that. It's the community. Nothing makes me happier than posting a video and seeing the comments on that video. People telling me that they've read books that I've recommended in previous videos. They've gone back and seen some of my bookshop tours and they've been and visited the shop and they've absolutely loved it. They've seen mental health videos that I've done and they've passed it on to the husbands or wives and it's helped them feel less alone. It just fills me with so much joy. On top of that, as someone that struggles a lot with his mental health, I can be polar opposites from one day to the next. On one day, I can go out into public and I can be the loudest man in the room. The next day, I'll be sat in a corner of a room, scratching my face and crying because I'm petrified at human interaction. To me, YouTube as a whole almost feels like an opportunity for just one huge book club. And I absolutely gag for it. Nothing brings me more joy than the social aspect of this community. And I often get messages in my other social media platforms where people message me and I do video responses and they're like, I love the fact that you respond by video. It's social media. Like, social should always come first. I think a lot of creators get wrapped up in the fame and the free books and the gifted books. Like, I think we should always remember that the social aspect of this should always come first, and it's the thing that I truly love the most about this platform. Next up, recommendations and discoveries. It's one of the reasons why I myself view content. It's where I go to. Reddit and YouTube are the two places that I come to outside of my comments section for my next recommendations. There are so many unbelievable content creators out there who give unique and lesser known books. One of my favourite is a chap called Brian Lee Durfee. I don't know if anyone's seen his page. I'll put it on here. Very similar to me. He is just a dude that stands in his bedroom and talks about books, unedited, and I absolutely gagged for it. I think the reason I relate to it so much is because it feels so similar. I actually found him after I set my page up and I was just like, dude, you're like my twin. I think he's got a slap head as well. So it just works. But there are just so many channels out there when you look for them who are just people who love books. They just want to come online and they just want to talk about them. And for me, I've found so many fantastic books, some of the best books I've ever read, just from searching in this community. And it's just magical. Next up, creative content and fantastic editing. What are you doing? Get out of the way. I can't talk to him with that there. Come here. That's better. See what I did there? I'm class. There's just so many creators out there who put so much time and effort into their videos, time and effort that I just can't be asked to do. I love just clicking record and talking about books in my bedroom, but I often go to other creators' channels to look at these almost production of videos and epic summaries of books. People like, I think his name's Johan from Library of a Viking or something like that, and then there's another page called Captured in Words, who do these epic productions, especially Captured in Words. I'm currently on book 2 of the Stormlight Archive, and before I jumped into book 2, I went onto his page and watched a summary of book 1. That, like, the amount of work that went into that summary, it was truly like a movie production. It was phenomenal. One of the best things I've ever seen on YouTube. And I just appreciate creators that go to them lengths to make it engaging and entertaining for us. I appreciate as well, a lot of people watch my videos and at some point they're like, nah, I'm tapping out, this is boring, I'm just looking at Tyrone all the time. And that if I could be asked to do this fantastic editing, it'd probably keep people engaged for a bit longer. But that's not my aim. My aim is just to bring people in that want to get to know me, get to know about my love for books, the books I enjoy. But I also think it's important that YouTube remains diverse and has different people for different people. And that's one of the things that I love, is that as well as the book reviews that I love, you've also got phenomenal channels out there like that. You've just got to kind of do a bit of searching to find them. One of the things that I'm most grateful for about YouTube is the motivation it gives me to pick up my books. I'll often find myself in like a 45-minute scroll hole just watching absolute brain rot content that brings nothing to my life at all. And when I'm 45 minutes in and I've realised that I've wasted so much of my life, I'll go onto YouTube, I type in my favourite content creators, and they usually give me the motivation to just put my phone down and pick a book up. And that's one of the things that truly just make me so grateful. because I sometimes struggle with motivation. So if I can't find it, I'll just force other people to give me that motivation to put my phone down and pick my book up. Now, this one's not just for me, but this is for everyone. So for me, I love author interaction. As someone that's gained a decent following across all my social media platforms, I have been blessed with the opportunity to speak to some of my favourite authors in the inbox and over email and on video calls, and I'll forever be grateful for that. But I think also as viewers to channels, there's just no time better than now where you can type in your favourite author and you can watch other people interviewing your favourite authors. You can watch videos where your favourite authors have been invited into book club chats, and that's free. And that's wild to me that I can watch my favourite author talking about their favourite books in the middle of a book club online for note. That is marvellous. Now, I grumbled about this earlier, but I also love it as well. And that is just the aesthetic appeal. I stick by what I said. I think sometimes the aesthetics behind these YouTube channels can put a lot of pressure on us to keep up with it. But I also just love looking at it, which is a vicious cycle. I absolutely adore the beautiful backdrops. And as I said, I'm a nosy bastard. I can't help it. I watch these videos where you've got these people with these, fantastic lighting, dark rooms behind them with the books all lit up and stuff. And I'm just like, what books you got there then? Oh, they've got a broken binding version of that book. Oh, that's a fairy little, my favourite book. And I just love it. So as well as hating the fact that it's hard to keep up with, I also love just being a bit of a nosy bastard. We're down to the last 3 people, and then I promise you can get your sent off. If you've not already, but if you have already gone, you wouldn't have heard me say that because you've gone. So yeah, it is what it is. Thanks for staying. Events and readathons. I love the fact that so many people from everywhere in the world can come together and read the favourite books as part of readathons and like buddy reads. I know that Gavin Reads It All, I think his name is. He often merges with other content creators and they do these videos where they're all reading the same book. Then once a week they come together and they talk about it and they put videos online. And I think that's class. You don't necessarily need to join in them videos, but as a viewer, if you know what these content creators are reading, you can read it and you can join in once a week to these videos, and it just makes you feel like you're part of something bigger. And I think reading for me is just so magical anyway, but whenever you can add an extra element and bring even more joy to something that is already so beautiful, why wouldn't you? It's just absolutely class. The second to last thing that I love about YouTube is just the nostalgia and the fandom energy. I love nothing more than watching people read Harry Potter for the first time. It's one of my favourite series of all times. It's the first true time in my entire life that I got lost in a completely different world, and it brought so much joy to me. And even now, 20 years plus in the future, I still have so many fond memories and occasions where I look back and remember the first time that I read about them all walking into that massive tent in Goblet of Fire, and the tent was massive inside, and it blew my mind. I was just like, how is this tent so big? Like, it's tiny from outside and inside it's huge. It just felt real. And the Quidditch World Cup itself was just mesmerising. I even remember reading at the start of Goblet of Fire and chapter 1 when the caretaker goes in and Nagini's there, and I was like, oh no dude, run downstairs, get gone. I love being able to go online and just type in my favourite books and find people's reactions to reading my favourite books for the first time. And nothing makes me happier than watching videos of adults who've never read Harry Potter before, reading it for the first time as an adult and still getting that warm fuzzy feeling that we all had when we read it for the first time as kids. It's just, I don't think anything compares to that feeling than when you see a video of someone talking about your favourite book and feeling the same way as you. You're just like, yes, I wasn't wrong. The last thing I proper love about this platform, and there's going to be other things that I've missed, but it is what it is, but it's just the accessibility of it, the opportunity for people from all over the world, of all ages, of all races, nationalities and cultures to be able to come to one place and just geek out over books. I don't think there's anywhere else that does it better than YouTube when it comes to just sheer accessibility. It feels a lot more casual than academic criticism. I think for people that have been to university and studied English lit, there's so many people that went to university and just got fed up of reading and took years away from literature because of the intense criticism of literature. And I love the fact that it just opens up a space for people to come and just have casual conversations about books. So that's me done. That's what I love in it. I would love to hear what you lot think. So in the comments, just drop down your favourite things or your least favourite things about BookTube as a whole. Again, if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you've not already subscribed, please do. If you've watched till this point, as always, I love you the most, and I'll see you in the next one.